Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ken, and today we're here to review the latest horror film directed by Radio Silence, Abigail.
Abigail, the ballerina vampire girl.
The Ballerina Vampire Girl movie, as it's more well known, I guess. But this just came out on Blu-ray. I bought it early at Walmart over the weekend, and then we gave it a watch. But this will be on Peacock by the end of the month. But yeah, this is a movie that I feel like it's gotten a lot of hype.
Yeah.
And we finally got to watch it, so I'm excited to share our thoughts here today. But before we get into it, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk about movies and TV on this channel. We do fun, entertaining live streams every Monday night. If you like that kind of stuff, hit the subscribe button. Also,
that's right. Like this video.
Like the video, like she said, and then leave us your thoughts on the movie. If you've seen it, in the comments section below, or if you're going to see it, let us know in the comments section. Okay, where do you want to start with Abigail?
Yeah, I'm excited to talk.
Did you like this one?
I'm excited to talk about this one. So yeah, I felt like I heard a lot of really good things about this, and I honestly was intrigued because I feel like it is kind of original. As far as, you know, the take on vampires.
And it's from the same people that did Ready or Not.
Yeah.
As well, and you
good,
liked Ready or Not. They also did the most recent Scream movies. That's also worth noting.
Gotcha.
Don't
know if that's a good thing or not.
They're both okay. They're both okay. I think Ready or Not is their strongest film.
Yeah. But. So, you know, I was interested in seeing this. I thought that, again, it just seemed kind of original as far as the take on vampires. Like, oh, you know, we've seen, I guess, vampire children before.
We have.
But this one was, you know, again, about a ballerina. And so, anyway, I don't know. I just thought that it seemed kind of fun, kind of cool. But I gotta say, guys, after watching this, I was quite bored. And even with all the outrageous, you know, gore, the blood, the stuff that you see in the previews and stuff too, I don't know, I was bored, and I honestly didn't really like this much at all.
Yeah, it was definitely, speaking of the blood and the gore, it was reminiscent of Ready or Not. Like, I feel like they honed back in on that style that they had in Ready or Not, with like some of the blood splatter gimmicks, and just the way that they did violence in this felt reminiscent of that, whereas Scream, I don't know if it's just because they're playing in another franchise and if it's supposed to feel more grounded. This one just felt more in line with what they had done before.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I'm trying to say. So, you didn't like the movie. I'm going to say some negative things about the movie in this review, but I will say off the top, I overall enjoyed this movie.
Okay.
I liked the movie. I'll probably watch it again. I didn't love Ready or Not when I saw it in the theaters. It wasn't until we watched it again at home that I grew to actually enjoy it a lot more.
Interesting.
So maybe that'll be the case with this. I just have some story issues with this movie and some things that it did and some performances as well.
I mean...
But I don't know. You can get into it. I liked it, though. I don't want to be super negative on it because I think overall I had fun with it.
Gotcha.
But there are negative things to talk about for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was boring. Even though I felt like it could have been done well as far as the story that they went with, for whatever reason, it just fell kind of flat for me. For starters, I don't think I liked a single character.
Not even Dan Stevens?
Not even Dan Stevens. I don't know. I felt like just no one was likable. And, I feel like that's always kind of a tricky thing when you're watching a movie, like not having anyone that you are rooting for or, can relate to or something like that. I just felt no attachment to anyone. So that, out of the gate was just a negative for me.
And I mean, you have a story about a bunch of criminals that are basically kidnapping this girl to get money. And they're holed up in this house, and then the girl is revealed to be a vampire. That's not really a spoiler. It's in the trailers, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. How I think it was kind of a mistake for them to market it that way. So nobody's really good in this movie. They tried to make Melissa Barrera good in the movie, but for me, it never really sticks. I never really gain any sort of emotional attachment towards her and her character.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody, I guess she would have been the one.
Yeah.
But like even with what they gave us, I just didn't really care.
Yeah. I guess, because we watch shows all the time, like Game of Thrones, for example, House of the Dragon, where there's characters, shades of gray, right? Lots of shades of gray.
Yeah.
People are good, people are bad, and they're kind of in between. And
right.
But with this movie, I don't know, it just didn't feel like any of the characters like really had any depth to latch on to.
Yeah,
they were just all just kind of there in this house, and they tried to give them backstories, but it just didn't catch on.
We didn't get to really know anybody that well. Like you said, they tried to like give us these quick little backstories about them, but
they give you exposition in the form of like Melissa Barrera like calling them all out for who they are, who she thinks they are, and
it just didn't work for me.
They try to do it in a fun way, but I think it kind of falls flat.
Yeah, I thought that it was kind of corny.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I feel like too, you kind of called out right away what you thought was going to happen.
Yes, but I will say that I think that the way I don't want to get into it because I don't want to spoil it, but I think I called something out specifically that it kind of was, but wasn't really.
Yeah.
They did something different with it. I think my way would have made the movie better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to be conceited or anything. I just think that my setup would have made the movie make a little bit more sense story-wise.
Well, kind of going off of what you said.
Character-wise for Abigail.
Yeah. Well, going off of what you were saying earlier about how you felt like they marketed this wrong, do you feel like it would have been better had we not known that she was a vampire?
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. And I heard people have conversations about this ahead of time, so I'm not like calling out anything that's new or groundbreaking in this Abigail conversation. People have said this before. But watching it, I'm like, there's really no reason why you should know she's a vampire. Think of how cool that would have been. I don't feel like studios have the balls to do that kind of stuff anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like From Dusk Till Dawn, for example. Like that was kind of a surprise for me. I don't guess I watched any trailers. I don't know how they marketed that movie.
Yeah.
Like when it turned out that all the strippers in the strip club were vampires.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that was going to happen. The movie's set up as a thriller.
Right.
So if we would have had that kind of situation with this movie, you didn't know Abigail was a vampire, and all of a sudden she turns into a vampire. Oh, shit. Like, that's a big twist.
Right, yeah.
And it would have made the movie a lot cooler to me.
Yeah, I think you're right. There just wasn't, like, really any... even though I guess there was a twist, some like we didn't know everything, but like by the time you did find out what that thing was, it was kind of anticlimactic. I don't know, it just wasn't enough to like. We
didn't know everything, but like we knew we knew some stuff. Like things could be called fairly easily, and it's like the things that were different, I just thought were kind of dumb and didn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
character wise for Abigail.
Yeah,
like, I wasn't down with her motivations. They didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and I mean, just kind of so that I'm not shitting on the movie the whole time, I will say that the actress that played Abigail, I do feel like she was good.
She was. She might have been the best performance in the movie.
Yeah, she was good. I did still think that it was cool that they threw in the whole like ballerina thing.
Yeah.
That was just kind of almost like a little quirk with it. Or like, I don't know if that's the right word, but like it was kind of cool how when she would be killing people, she would be doing like ballet, and it was kind of fun. And different,
yeah, that's what I would say. That way. That's what I would say is the biggest positive, and is what's going to help me go back and rewatch this movie, because I think those parts are very fun.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's a stupid horror movie, right? There's not a lot of depth to it. I can go back and I watch tons of horrible stuff that's put out on Blu-ray and 4K from Vinegar Syndrome. I can watch Abigail again and have a good time with it, because I do think those sequences where she's attacking people and there's blood flying everywhere, and they're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun. They're well done, well directed sequences. Yeah,
I don't know. It just wasn't very scary for me.
No, we watched it with our kids. We didn't really bring that up, but we watched it with our kids.
Please don't judge us. But our kids are older. But I don't know. Overall, I was just kind of bored with it. And I'm not even like a big horror fan, and this movie is like very like like gory and all the things, and I was still like bored and unfazed by it. I don't know if it was because they were so over the top in some of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Overall, I was disappointed.
I will say that it kind of, certain elements feel like a kind of throwback to those vampire movies in the 80s that we all know and love, like The Lost Boys and Fright Night. I could see DNA of those movies in this movie.
Yeah.
For
kind
sure.
Of how, having seen Fright Night, I think, was it last year or a couple of years ago or something? I could see, like, in how Abigail moved and stuff, it did kind of remind me of, like, Fright Night and stuff.
Yeah, there's definite callbacks. You could tell they were definitely inspired by those movies, for sure.
So, I don't know. Are you ready to rate it?
I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
3.5.
All right. And I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay.
3 out of 5. Yeah. I was disappointed in you, Abigail.
Yeah, I get it. I look, I was a little disappointed as well. Still had a good time with it, but there is a lot to nitpick with this movie for sure. Yeah. But thank you all for watching our review of Abigail. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Let us know. Also, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and we'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.